Hi, my name is Allie, for those of you who don't know me, and I'm the maker behind Crochet in the Mud, where I do both crochet plushies as well as pottery. And today is another weekly makes. So first of all, I just want to say, how cute is this little hoodie? So Denver Zoo just had 4 lion cubs born about a month or 2 ago, and how could you not buy this? Sorry, my hair is crazy today. I don't know what's going on. But if we ignore this piece that just wants to sit in front of my forehead, I will show you everything I made this week, which includes both crochet plushies and pottery. So I guess we'll start with the pottery. So I am currently trying to market prep for 2 upcoming markets. One is this coming weekend, and then the last one of the year, and potentially my last Colorado market is the weekend after. And then we are fully going into store focused mode. So my best-selling pottery piece are herb strippers, and of course I have like 10 left, so I desperately need some more. And I've also been getting a lot of requests for garlic graters, even though when I had them it took forever to sell, so I'm kind of trying to bring those back. But when it comes to weekly makes, because pottery is such a long process, I'm gonna count the throwing process as 50% of the sale price. So this week I'll throw up a picture that I took. I made 39 herb strippers and 8 garlic graters. All of those will be for sale for about $15, assuming there's no flaws, in which case I might discount it. I know already that one of the garlic graters I made last week wasn't flat enough to my taste, so I went ahead and just threw it in my reclaim. So last week dropped from 8 to 7. So this is just currently what's made, and it could get messed up somewhere in the process. So we're counting 50%. So between this week and last week, that's going to be my kiln load. I am loading this on Monday. When you watch this, I will be loading the bisque kiln, and then Wednesday is a glaze day, and then Friday I unload, and then Sunday is the market. So a very rushed kiln load. Normally I try to have more than this. I don't even know if my kiln will be full, but I needed these items and I've just been procrastinating going in. My last kiln unloading was in May, so it's been quite a bit. I do currently plan to spend most of January, February in the studio, weather depending, because I do have to drive 30 minutes minimum, assuming there's no traffic, but I do drive through downtown Denver to get to my studio, so there's always traffic. So assuming the roads are okay and it's not freezing, because it is in a warehouse, so it is a little harder to warm the space up, but that's against the point. So when it comes to crochet plushies, I didn't do too much variety. I had an issue where, if you've seen my last video, I bought somebody's yarn collection, specifically Parfait Chunky, and all week that I've had time to crochet, all I wanted to do is play with the new yarn colors. Not that I was really using new yarn colors, because I made a bunch of jellies, and I've done this color combo before, but what was interesting was the seller threw in for free some retro velvet. So I kind of compare it to just chenille yarn, but the colors are pretty identical. This one is just chenille, this one is Parfait Chunky on top. I guess the camera is picking up a slight difference. There is also a texture difference, but I made a bunch in Parfait Chunky, and then I started using the retro velvet until I ran out of the tentacle color. So now we are paused in this way, but it's been a while since I've had pink jellies. But I ended up making 11 of the pink jellies. Unfortunately, not an even dozen, but that's all right. And these I do sell for $21. So I did just spend some time separating the plushies I made this week into what are market inventory, what goes to eclectic, and what goes to painted tree. So all 3 of my locations are going to be getting some jellies. Now on top of that, I did want to try another color combo. This one truly is new to me. So 3 additional jellies were made for 14 total for the week. So this was the first one I did, and this is using retro velvet in the bottom. So just like the Just Chenille yarn, it doesn't hold the curl quite as well. Let me compare them. So you can see these look longer, but these are the exact same pattern. It just doesn't hold the curl as well. But I want to use that up, and these are 300-gram skeins. So picture a parfait chunky skein the size of a Bernay blanket skein. So quite a lot in there. But I was trying to find inspiration and looking up different 2 color combinations, and I didn't quite love this. So I deemed that the turquoise was too dark. So the next one I did was with a lighter, and I think I will continue with this color combo. So what was nice about this one is you can't really tell, but I had some Just Chenille that was the exact same shade as the mint parfait chunky. So it ran out mid-frill, and you can't even really tell there's a color change. But this one's made fully with the parfait chunky. And I had to tell myself to stop, because this next plushie will tell you why. But next weekend's market is Cat Festival, and what do you know, I have 0 cats. So this week I was able to make 7. However, only 5 of them will be for markets, because I happened to get an online order for 1 of each of these cats. So this week I made 4 Siamese and 3 of this color combo, which is Sandy Tweed and Woodland Tweed, I believe are the Bernay blanket colors. But I have like 10 different color combos, and I'd love to have like 5 of each color combo, which is doable if I were to repeat my how many cats can I make in a week video. But like I mentioned earlier, it is a kiln week, so Monday's at the very least a half day, Wednesday's a full day, and Friday I'd say is a half day, but I'm also working my shift at Eclectic. So really I have this weekend, which I of course was making Jellyfish, and then I have Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday to make cats. So there's a lot of work ahead, but I think I'm going to prioritize more variety of cats over having multiple of each color, if that makes sense. So like I'm not gonna start with my ideal 5 of each. Maybe I'll start with 3 of each color, and hopefully I can get there. I do, however, need to go on a hunt for the orange mystical yarn, because I like making striped orange tabbies with that, and I have none of that yarn right now. And when I went to Michael's, they didn't have that color. So I might go on Monday when I go to the guild. There is a Michael's nearby, and hopefully they'll have it. We'll have to see. But I really want to make orange cats for this market, but I don't really have time to go on a wild goose chase to find that orange mystical. So 5 cats for markets so far. 2 of these that I need to ship out, probably also on Monday. And I don't know if I mentioned it, but these are $18 each. And I expect these to be a crowd favorite at the Cat Festival. I unfortunately signed up last minute. You might have heard me mention in prior videos that I've been thinking about doing this market, but in my head it was much further away than next weekend. So we'll see how many cats I can get done. So expect next week's weekly makes to be purely cats. And then today, because I didn't want to have my whips pile growing, which I still have 2 other forms of whips that have almost been whipped for a month now, which I'm normally really good at not having whips, but I don't want to. And of course, both of the whips I haven't touched yet are made with Posh yarn, but I did work on some more pocket octopus. I guess I should say I stuffed them this week and added eyeballs. So all of the pocket octos I made either last week or 2 weeks ago, and I just not got around to finishing them. So these are $12 each, and I ended up making 22 for the week, and all of these are going to be for markets. Sorry, for my stores. Markets have plenty of octos, and after my next 2 markets, I'll probably be spreading them to my markets. But I went ahead and made 3 colors this week, or this time around. So this is Mini Succulents, this is Party Pop, and I want to say this is called Strawberry Dot. I call this Red, White, and Pink. But majority of what I made were this color. This is a really good seller. Or I guess all of these are. But this is the one I had the least of at my stores. And I also took it with me out when I was doing errands and just cranked out this one color. So these are going to be going to my stores only. So I guess for markets for this week, they gained 7 of the jellies and 5 of the cats. So I guess they're also gaining the pottery. So quite a bit that I need to work on. Heading back to the cats though, this is the only pattern I have for cats. This is not the traditional loaf cat. I forget who it's by. Hold on, I have it pulled up. It is by Haru Crochets, and it is part of this No So Floof Balls pattern pack. And I really enjoy a lot of these patterns. Some of them I haven't touched, which I definitely need to fix that. But if you have any suggestions for a cat pattern that's not the loaf cat, just because I'm aware of the loaf cat and I feel like this is close enough to the loaf cat, drop them in the comments, because while I don't have many days left to try to crochet cats, I can always try. And also, I love making cats. I'm a big cat fan. I have cats of my own, so drop them below. But because there wasn't much variety this week, I guess we will get into the totals for the week. So overall, this week I made 90 items, 43 of which were crochet plushies and 47 were pottery. And with the pottery being counted as 50% of their sale price, that means this week I made $1,036.50 of inventory, which is fantastic. I definitely didn't think I had that much, especially with only having 3 different types of plushies. But within each category, I made quite a bit of each. So then, of that $1,000, 684 of it was crochet plushies, and then $352.50 was pottery. So I will definitely have next week a lot of pottery counted, but it'll be the other 50% to count for timing to glaze the items, as well as loading the kilns, unloading, making the listing photos, and all of that. Luckily, these don't require much in terms of listing photos because it's just editing the inventory and adding stickers on. But when it comes down to market inventory, we have, in terms of plushies only, $3,866 of plushie inventory. And keep in mind, I also have all the pottery inventory. I have stickers, I have crochet kits, resin eyes, stitch markers, all the fun things. So we're at 38.66. I think it's, if I were to say I want to get to 450 next week. Sorry, I have to do some math. 4,500. I would need to make an additional 634 in inventory next week, which is 35 cats. Let's see if I can do it, because like I mentioned, I have 3 days. So I want to say for the cat challenge, I averaged on good days about 12 cats a day. So it's gonna be our goal. Hopefully next week I can make, actually I'll have to round it up to 36 because it's 35.22 cats that I'm gonna make next week. So hopefully I can make 36 cats next week, which truly is 12 cats for those 3 days that I have fully devoted to crochet, so that we can have $4,500 of inventory to go to this market. I think it'll do well. My only concern is that people might think they're cat toys, which are not necessarily cat toys, but cats, unlike dogs, don't really destroy the toys as much, so I think it should be fine. I would obviously make it clear to them that the eyes could still be a choking hazard if your cat is rough and pulls them out, and I haven't tested my stuffing to make sure that it is safe for pets, but I feel like cat people are more understandable about that than dog people. And also, why would you spend that much money for a toy for your pet who's going to destroy it? I've had a lot of people come up to me at markets, especially like my last one, and they were like, is it a dog toy? And I said no, and they're like, can it be a dog toy? No, it's not dog safe. But I am hoping, Henry is currently on another work trip with an undetermined end date, so I'm hoping he's back by Sunday because I want to walk around and pet all the cats and see all the things. So we'll see if he makes it back for that. But I think that's all the updates I have for you. Not too much going on, honestly. I've just been trying to market prep away. So thanks again for watching this video, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!